guys, it's your girl Rin, back at it again with another interview, and today I am joined with Kat and Josh, owners of the gorgeous 1100 Collective Photo Studio. And how are you guys doing today?
Good.
Doing good.
Good, minus the weather, of course. Yeah.
It was a torrential, but it looks nice outside now.
Texas doesn't know what it's doing. Texas is kind of more bipolar than Oregon, and I didn't know that was possible. So this summer has been interesting to say the least, but let's get right into our interview. So first question, who are the original founders of 1100 Collective?
That would be me. I've been in this studio for about 12 years. About 12 years, I think. Wow. And then Kat moved in. She used to be down the hall. So she's been in the building for the same amount of time or even longer, maybe. Yeah. And she moved in with me in maybe 8 years ago.
Yeah, 8 years ago, my studio, I was at the end and my studio mate moved out. And I was kind of like, do I stay here by myself? Do I move in with someone that I don't know? And then I was talking to Josh about it, and he was like, well, why don't you just pop in here because somebody's leaving. And so we ended up moving our desks into the studio, which no one had done that quite yet before. And then it just kind of grew and changed from there.
Okay. And you were doing just a photo studio before, right?
Yeah, so just me by myself.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And you've always been in this building, right?
Correct, yeah.
So this building houses just a bunch of different photo studios?
There's a bunch of different artists in the building. There's painters. There used to be architects here. There's a couple people, I have no idea what they do.
Some weird
there's
stuff.
A salon.
There's a salon.
So it's more like studio suite type deals, and you kind of make
there's
what
artists.
you want of it.
Yeah,
Got
exactly.
it. Okay, awesome. So you answered the question, how long you've been in business. So you've been here 12 years, but how long have you been in photography? What's your guys' background with photo?
Go ahead.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't want to go first? I have been shooting since I was a very little kid. I got my first camera when I was 8, but before that I had a little spy camera that I used to shoot on. And it was just something I did through middle school, through high school. I didn't know it could be a career until I booked my first, something for money. And then it just kind of, just kept happening. And so I feel like it's always been this. I've never really done anything else. I worked at a pet store once, but other than that, this is all I've ever done.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's nice though. I feel like so many people always have so many different routes and then they find their way to photography, so that's amazing.
I thought I wanted to be a marine biologist, but I really just wanted to, I feel like everyone my age wanted to be a marine biologist when they were young, but I just wanted to photograph sea life. At the end of the day, I didn't really want to study or do the science of it. I just wanted to take pretty photos of marine biology things.
Did you get into that ever? Did you?
I got a scuba diving license.
Wow.
I did all that stuff, and I was still nope. Just want to make portraits. Just want to take pictures.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Just want to be in a studio.
Yeah.
Nice. What about yourself?
I went to school for design for a couple years, and then when I moved here, I was working at a studio doing back-end stuff. So I was doing retouching and printing and that. So I kind of got in from that area, and then started shooting. I don't remember what year it was, a long time ago. So, but when I started working at a studio doing the retouching stuff was 2003. So it's been about 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Have you changed your photography style at all, having been in the game for so long? Have you changed your subject? What you're interested in shooting?
Yeah.
What's been your photography journey then?
I think everyone changes over years because you evolve, you get better or you get worse, and you your interests change.
Right.
Things change as you have kids or you have more responsibilities and bills to pay. It changes your outlook on what you decide to photograph too.
Yeah.
Because some things you will do because it's fun and you love to do it, and then some things you're like, all right, I gotta go do these corporate headshots because I got a mortgage.
Right.
So
I think that's you can do stuff that you love, but at the end of the day, you also have to make money.
Right.
So I think stylistically, from the stuff I've seen of Josh's work, I feel like I can always tell what his work is. I feel like that's hard to do when it's you. I feel like my work is so different, but I'm sure someone could be like, oh no, that looks like early you or whatever. But I think it's more subject matter you can see yourself getting into like modes. Like for a little while I was pregnant, I was photographing a lot of pregnant women and doing a lot of newborns
So it
and
just
stuff.
evolves.
Yeah, you just kind of evolve. Like there was a time, he doesn't do it anymore, where Josh shot weddings.
He doesn't do it anymore.
He doesn't do it anymore.
Don't ask.
Don't ask him.
Don't ask.
But me, I do.
Oh, so ask.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so you change and evolve as like you go through. But I don't think stylistically, I feel like you always have that foundation of like what your brand kind of looks like.
Right.
And then it just like, changes maybe a little bit.
Right. No, I think the subject changes more than the branding for sure. Yeah. So with that, what's your guys' favorite type of photography? Since you guys seem to have dabbled. Is yours not wedding, I'm assuming? 'Cause you're not doing it.
Loves newborns
Yeah,
and
no.
family.
Really?
I know. I love photographing. I like photographing people. Probably in their spaces. Like studio photos or portraits are fun, but like I like going into someone's environment or their space, somewhere that like I wouldn't be normally.
Right.
Like,
Right.
why would I be on this ranch in South Texas, like
Right.
photographing somebody? Like I wouldn't. I wouldn't be
Right.
here, but I'm there now. So getting like access to interesting people. So
Right.
what I really like to do. Yeah.
I don't think I have a favorite. I really like, I don't like being just pigeonholed into one thing. So I think I like to do lots of different things, but if I had to pick a favorite, it's whatever I create that means something to somebody else as well as me. Like I'll make a just like random portrait, and then later, years down the line, I'll get a phone call like, I'm so glad you made this because yada yada yada. It means a lot to me because of this or whatever. That means a lot to me. Like the human experience, the connection,
Right.
I think is important. So sometimes the connection is I made a portrait of a person, but sometimes the connection is I made a portrait of something, and they're like, oh, I resonate with this, and this
Right.
makes me
Right.
feel good and whatnot. So I
Right.
think probably anything that makes you feel something, I think is my favorite thing.
I feel like portrait photography, you're always going to feel something, and it's super meaningful because even if it is a corporate headshot, it's still capturing that person during that time, what they were doing. And like, you look at your grandparents and stuff all the time. My grandparents are constantly looking back at photos of themselves. Like, it's nice to be able to capture where you're at. So
Yeah.
I definitely like that.
Yeah. Even if it's a soulless banker,
Right.
Soulless. All
Sorry.
your soulless bankers
Sorry,
are watching
bankers.
this right now,
Yeah, sorry,
and they're
bankers.
super
Sorry,
upset with
bankers.
you.
Yeah.
You're not all soulless, but
Yeah.
like 98%.
Yeah.
So speaking of creating meaning, what does photography mean to y'all as individuals?
That's such a huge question.
Oh yeah, it's loaded.
Because it's literally like my livelihood, but also something that I love to do, that I've been lucky to be able to do as a career. So really, I mean, I don't know if I have like a clear answer. Like it means a lot.
Right,
to
everything.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it means a lot to me. It's the way I capture, my home life. It's the way I document my family. It's the way I can count the years in my career. Like I said before, people that come and are like, oh man, I love this, so a lot of my self-worth is in my work. So yeah, it just means a lot. I mean, you can see like the amount of people that are doing content creation right now, because that's what resonates with so many people. So I don't have a clear answer. That is whatever I just said. That's the only thing. That's it. Okay, cool.
It's very clear, and I love that. What about yourself?
I forgot the question after that long answer.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
What does photography mean to you?
Yeah. How about now?
I mean, just pictures in general are important. Like you see things that are, pictures that have been made from 100 years ago that just still stand the test of time. So just having those photos is, I don't know, it's just very important to see. I mean, I have photos. Some of my favorite photos are just probably of my kids, I think, and just having those and being able to put them, like stick them in a book and have those later, I think is great. So having all the really dumb, expensive equipment to just photograph your kids and be happy about it is what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
Love
Yeah.
that.
So
How many kids do you have?
2.
Okay, and what are their ages?
I have a 6-year-old and a 4-month-old.
So I bet you're
Yeah.
like rolling in the baby photography
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
Got you. Oh, that's adorable. So, what have been some of your biggest accomplishments in your career other than being able to take photos of your kids?
I think I do a lot of stuff, editorial stuff for magazines. So there's a few magazines that I always wanted to shoot for when I was starting, and one of them was Texas Monthly. So my first assignment for them was in 2013, and when I got that was kind of like, oh cool, like they called me, they saw me, and
Right.
so I think that was probably one of the ones for me that when I first got Texas Monthly one. And then I've had, since then, I've had a lot of for them and other bigger magazines too. But I think that was the one that I always kind of in Texas was kind of our one that everyone looks at. So,
Right.
yeah.
Nice. What about yourself?
I don't know. I think as a self-deprecator, yeah, that. You kind of never feel like you've accomplished anything yet.
Right.
So, like, it's that whole trope of like, oh, the photograph I take tomorrow will be my favorite kind of situation. Like,
Right.
I'm just keeping going. But I like that I'm able to do something that I love and I still have a family and a house, and I'm not, I'm able to support my family and still like be able to do this thing that I love.
Right.
And so I feel like that's a huge accomplishment. And then also being able to have a secondary business that we can share with other people, I think that's pretty great.
That's a big accomplishment for sure. So, top 3 tips for owning a photo studio. So I know you guys probably deal with a lot of things.
Probably having really good communication is a good one. I would say you have to be somewhat flexible, but at the same time, like still kind of stick to your rules, because
Can we get a shot of the confetti
yeah,
right now?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the confetti up there.
confetti on the ceiling that
Don't bring confetti to the studio.
it never goes away. It
We
never
know
goes
it was
away.
you. We know it was you.
Sparkles, nothing.
We know it was you.
I think having, so if you have a studio that you're wanting to rent out to other people, like having good communication with them, and then also just having like a very clear and easy to read contract for people, because
Definitely.
you don't want it to be too long and ridiculous where they're not going to read it and then miss some of the things that are important to you.
Right.
So.
I think my top 3 for running a studio is having like you have to like be able to communicate well, not just the clientele but with the people who are working with you, like our studio manager.
Right.
Josh and I communicate well. Like our spouses used to work together. We had kids at the same time, so it just kind of all like fell into place. So kind of working well with the people that are around you is probably a good one in communicating. So communication, number 1. Number 2 is the flexibility, because stuff is going to happen and you just have to be able to like be okay with that. And then, number 3, it's not as easy. I think people think it's really easy to just build out a photo studio and stuff like that, and it's really just not. It's not as easy, so know that it's going to be a lot more expensive and a lot harder than you think it's going to be.
Right. Especially like one like 1100 Collective. When I first moved down here, this is one of the first studios I heard about.
Oh, that's
like,
great.
You guys are very known in the city, so like, I'm giving you your flowers. But like, like you said, I feel like with that, there's a lot of misconception that like, I can just open a photo studio and it'll pop off, and like that is not the
it's
case.
not. Like we had put a lot of our heart and soul into this before we started letting others, like before we turned it into a situation where we could share it with others. We had built this out for ourselves, like, because this was our space.
Right.
And so just managing that expectation of like, hey, this is going to be a lot harder, probably more expensive. Right. Like you can't get jealous if somebody uses a corner of the space that you never thought of using.
Right.
Like, you have to be able to share this like creativity with like other people and be more in awe of what they create. Like, even if you didn't get there first.
Right. Do you experience that a lot as photographers? Like kind of that like, damn, that I should have thought of that shot.
Yeah.
Yeah?
All the time.
All the
Yeah.
time. All the
Yeah.
time. Because, you know, your brain works a certain way and then you see somebody else do something and you're like, God damn.
Right. Right.
But it's cool to see that. I mean, you can either be like, you know, gatekeepy, or you can be like, oh, that's awesome. Like, that's so cool. Like, what a cool creative person. I want to know that person. You know,
Right.
I want to see the rest of their work. I want
Right.
to maybe get to know them. You know, like have a coffee with them. I
Right.
think that's the first thing that changed for me was, so Josh was renting the studio with a couple other people. So he saw other people, you know, sometimes. I was with one other person and she wasn't a photographer. And so when she moved out, it was just me by myself and that was a lot. And so when I moved in here and people would just come by to have a coffee or say hello, I was like, oh, that's cool. And that was that first like sense of community that I'd ever had. And it was really nice because I think that's really important, especially in creative spaces. Like
Right.
community is important, sharing is important.
Right.
There's enough to go around.
I definitely agree. I'm so sick of the gatekeepers in the creative industry. It's just, we can all eat, you know?
Yeah.
We can all eat. We don't have to eat at the same table, but we
Yeah.
can definitely all eat.
Yeah.
So with that, what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned with being in business? Other than the fact that people aren't going to read the contract, no matter how easy it is.
I mean, that's the first one. That's the first one.
I don't know if there's like a big lesson from this. I mean,
I'm sure you're
I don't
learning
know.
every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It still feels very fresh and new.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't think I have an answer to that right now. Sorry.
You're good.
Trying to think of it. I should have read the questions before, like Kat asked me to. Maybe that's the lesson.
You
So,
looked her in the eye and said, yes, I read this question.
I read those.
lesson: don't lie to your business partner about reading the questions before the interview.
Learning lessons every day.
There's
lesson.
my lesson. There's my lesson.
Let's see.
I did. I think I read it while I was driving, maybe.
Yeah.
So I kind of
No,
half read
totally
it.
safe.
Lesson
Yeah.
number 2,
Super
don't
safe.
read interview questions while you're driving. You won't understand them and it's dangerous.
Super safe situation. Wait, repeat the question.
What are some tips that you've learned, some of your biggest lessons that you've learned since being in business?
In business as a photographer or as a studio
owner or a photographer.
Oh, I guess community. Getting to know your community, I think, is huge. We have a great community in San Antonio, and there's some amazing people, and all they're going to do is help. You know, and that's great. And then two, an accountant. Get an accountant. I don't care how small your business is, how
Get an
big your business is. Please get an accountant. It is so important. Your money, like, take care of yourselves, guys. Like, you know, take care of yourselves. Legally take care of yourself.
Legally take care of yourself if
Yeah.
you're gonna get into business owning for sure.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. It does not matter how small you are. You know, they will be able to help you with things that, you know, I remember first starting and thinking like, why would I even be in my own, like have this business? I'm not making any money and, you know, accountant. So that's it. Accountant.
That's a great knowledge nugget because your accountant will save your life.
Yeah.
And if you're anything like me, I'm not good with numbers. Taxes confuse me. So, you know.
Yeah.
Get an accountant. So being a photo studio, you guys have lots of competition. You know, there's photo studios popping up everywhere, lower prices, whatever. So what is the competition scene like and how do you guys stand your ground? Like what would be your biggest tips for standing your ground?
I feel like we've talked about this before because I don't think we feel like there's, and I'm not saying like, oh, there's no competition, like we're great. I think it's just like we said before, there's plenty of food everyone can eat.
Right.
We've got so much content. There's so many people out there doing content creation.
Right.
There's so many beautiful studios. Ours just happens to be one of them.
Right.
I don't feel like it's something where we're like, oh, we need to compete. I think it's more of like, oh, cool, a new studio opened. That's awesome. They have this. You know, that's great. We haven't really felt like we need to. Like, oh, we need to lower our prices or do this or bring in this. Like, we're just kind of like happy that we're able to share this creative space with people. And
I've shot in all those other studios. I've rented their studios and used them because ours will be booked.
Right.
Call over
And all the
rent another.
studios honestly offer different things.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like I haven't been in a studio where it's just like none of them look like 1100 Collective.
Yeah,
1100 Collective doesn't look
exactly.
like any of them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like
and
I
then-
just called somebody today and I was like, there's a situation, like, do you have an opening? And she was like, absolutely, you know, and it's just, like, let's just all be a community. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Good. I love that. And I think there's no need to compete because, like I said, you guys have specific things that people want, and that'll keep people coming to it all the time. So, what are your 3 favorite things about this studio specifically?
I mean, the stairs for sure.
Absolutely,
Yeah, carrying all the
absolutely.
kids up the stairs.
Gotta
Love
keep
has
your
to be-
stairs.
That's the best.
Calves really get a workout.
Probably. I mean, it's probably the natural light in our space is
Yeah.
the best. I mean, you can't really beat it. So I think the natural light in here is amazing. I mean, you get nice soft light in the mornings, and then you can see we're sitting here in the afternoon, the sun's pouring in, so
Yeah.
you can get some nice warm sunlight and afternoons and evenings. I mean, kind of get a little bit of everything. So
Right.
sunlight's probably one of them.
That's 2.
That's 2 stairs and sunlight.
Stairs,
sunlight.
All right, so the free gym workout, sun. I don't know. What's your?
For me,
Yeah.
definitely number 1 is the natural light in here. You can't beat that. Our location, when we first
Yeah.
moved into this building, you know, it definitely was a lot different.
Right.
But you know, the neighborhood's, you know, changed a bit, grown a little bit, but it's still, everyone's still very friendly. Everyone's like still got a very like calm, you know. So our location would definitely be a number 2 for me. And I mean, number 3 is, I mean, I don't know, you know how places have I don't want to say vibe, but I'm gonna say it.
vibe.
Some places have this vibe, and everyone that's in this building, everyone that's come through this building, has just been real. Even the building owner, like, very gracious, and it feels calming and fun. Everyone that we, you know, have rented to has been very great, and so just like it feels like it brings in really great people and getting to know new people. So yeah, I think that would be my top 3. Yeah.
And don't be afraid to use the word vibe. It's okay. It's okay. I like it.
I feel like I overuse that word a little bit, so.
I mean, if you do overuse it, then I guess. But, so, obviously I follow you guys on Instagram. I stalk you guys on Instagram all the time. So with that, I noticed you guys changed your logo to, it's more bright. It's not just the black and white Collective Studios. It just says Collective now, and it's got a cute little C going on. So what was the push for the change? Are we expecting some rebranding in the studio? What's that?
Nothing's going to change in this studio. We just did an update on our branding and logo with
Yeah.
Due South, with Tanner at Due South. So it just, this studio, I mean, just a new logo and
Yeah.
stuff. So, but everything in the studio is going to be the same. So,
We're constantly updating the wall, you know, the rolling wall, different colors for the
Right.
summer and stuff like that.
Right.
But we just wanted something fresh and new, and Due South is awesome. So if, you know, there's so many creative people that do lots of wonderful things. But
Right.
yeah, like, yeah, well, we're always updating in here and stuff like that. So it was just kind of like a nice,
I like the new logo.
yeah.
I think it fits
I like
the
it.
vibe.
It looks good.
So much of like the Collective Studio, and just hearing you guys talk about the people that come in here and the vibe. I feel like it definitely encompasses it more than just the black and white, you know?
Yeah,
So I'm very
yeah.
happy with the change.
Yeah.
But last question. What can we expect for the future of 1100 Collective? Do you have any events coming up? Do we have any big things? Maybe expansion plans? I don't know.
I mean,
You know, who knows?
Could
Maybe.
be. yeah.
If we did, we're probably not ready to talk about it. But yeah, like we.
Yeah, we always have plans, but I mean, this space, we're always updating things in this space and trying to make it better. And I think it's just from being in here for so long, I get bored with it. So we're adding new things and trying to find creative ways to maximize the space. So it's like we added on the other side of the wall over here, we added the concrete wall and just like little things like that where you're like, oh, well, this could be a shooting space.
Right.
And then in the sitting area, we painted it and added some stuff on the walls to make it also another
Nice.
like
More of a living room
yeah
space.
Right.
like a space that people could do photos in versus just
Yeah.
where people would sit to wait, you know.
Right.
And we're always open to suggestions.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
like if someone's like, you know, it'd be cool if you painted the wall like this color or yada yada yada. So far we haven't really gotten any of those though because people seem pretty happy. So it's really just
Yeah.
us being like, you know what we should do?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
We're
Like,
just trying to spend all of the money and not make any money.
yeah,
Just
we don't
constantly
want to make any
updating.
money.
Yeah,
We just
for
want to
sure.
make it great to be creative and
Yeah.
make things and yeah, all that stuff.
See, well, I'm propositioning a yellow wall for the summer.
Okay.
Yellow.
Just
Okay.
because
Okay.
I know for a fact I got some photos I want to take with the yellow wall.
Yeah.
There it is. All you had to do was ask.
See,
Like,
Yeah.
see, guys, now you know. All you have to do is ask, and hopefully they can make your dreams come true. But thank y'all for joining me
Yeah, for
and
sure.
For having
sharing
us.
with all of the people watching. I really appreciate you guys taking the time.
Of course.
And-
of course.
But